Well, hello everybody. Today we are in Concord, North Carolina with Coach Reavis and Mrs. Sharon Reavis. The Reavises, welcome to the Hartzell Basketball Legend Series.
Thank you.
Well, I want to start off by, before we even go far, Coach, do you know where everybody calls you Mr. Coach Mashija, Mr. and Mrs. Mashija?
Yes.
Do you know where that came from?
I know where it came from, and I used to love it. I think you all kept it. You thought you were keeping it a secret, but I loved it. That people had a hard time saying Reavis, and so they tried to say Reaves, but you all were great at rolling your R's. So Reavis, which sounds like leaves.
Okay.
So Mashisha, leaves.
Awesome. Yeah, we've called you Coach Mashisha for years. I didn't know if you knew that, but all right. So let's start talking a little bit about your history, your background. Starting with you, Coach, and then Mrs. Reavis, where you're from, where you grew up, your educational background. Give us a little more details about your background.
We're in Concord. It's the center, near the center of the state of North Carolina on the East Coast of the United States. This is the area generally that we both grew up in, and this area is a lot of blue collar workers. The area that I grew up in was a textile town, making yarn and cloth. Just good people who worked hard for a living and never made very good money. I grew up in a small textile town, and there was nothing to do except sports. So I lived very nearby the gym and the football field, and so I was always over, even as a tiny thing, hanging around the coaches and the players, and I just always loved sports. So it was a real gift to be able to be involved with all of you as you were growing and developing too. So.
Awesome. And Mrs. Reavis?
I grew up just a little east of here, and my family, my father's family were tobacco farmers, so that was the big thing in our area, was farming. And I didn't grow up on the farm, but we did help with the farming of friends, and went to North Carolina State University, and that's where I met my wonderful husband that we've been married for almost 43 years now.
Wow. I'm 42, so you guys met before I was anybody that had any thoughts about me,
Right.
So in school, what did you guys study in college, Coach and Ms. Reavis?
I studied math education because I really felt that God wanted me to share that love I had for math with students, and just the desire has always been to help people to find that thing that they love to do. And I love to do math, so I knew lots of careers needed math, so my love for math could help people do other things, even beyond math. And so that was great gift to be able to do that.
And awesome. I was trained as an architect. I graduated from state. I had my own practice, and in the midst of architecture, I got this calling from God. I got very, very involved in church in a spiritual retreat called the Walk to Emmaus, and that led to both of us praying really hard, trying to lean in to listen to what God would have us do. We felt like it was something more than that, and so that's what allowed me to be invited to come to Zimbabwe to help with all the construction, with all of the United Methodist missions and various building needs across the country. The idea had just been approved for Africa University, and they needed an architect to be there. But God knew that I needed to be there as the basketball coach. So thanks be to God for all the training.
Awesome. So when did you guys get to Zimbabwe? What stage of life were you with your family, kids, all of that? Tell us about how your first day in Zimbabwe, when you got there, what was going on, kids, family, all of that.
Well, we left the United States on December 31st, 1989, and we arrived in Zimbabwe on the 1st of January 1990 with our 2 children, Sarah, who was 5 at the time, and Stacy, who was 2.
Okay.
And we arrived with everything we could carry on the plane, and we got to the border and at the airport, and they wouldn't let us in because we didn't have our paperwork. We were waiting for that, and so by God's grace, I was able to remember some names to be able to make some phone calls, and we got our papers to be able to actually enter the country after sitting in the airport for about 5 hours maybe.
Okay. So when you first got into Zimbabwe, I know you didn't go straight to the mission, right? You guys lived in Palmerston in Mutale.
Right.
Okay. And at this point, what were your daily responsibilities? Coach, did you go straight into architectural work? Miss Reavis, did you go straight into teaching, or did it take a while to get you guys stationed where you needed to be?
It took a few weeks for us to get a place to live, and so I was a little late getting in, start with the term at the beginning of the school year. So as soon as we got in the house, I was ready to get into the classroom. So that left Baba to get all the other things taken care of, getting the groceries and washing the clothes and getting Sarah to school, and God was able to provide us some wonderful help.
I became as strong as the Zimbabwean women. All the washing of clothes, so yes.
So some women saw what he was doing and said, "Oh no, you can't do that." So we were able to. Our good daughter, Constance Casizira, was able to come and help us, and we were so blessed with her.
Awesome. So, Coach, going to the sporting background, tell us a little bit about your sports background. Did you play in high school, in college? If you did, what position did you play? Any memorable basketball achievements you had in your playing career?
Yes, my great achievement in basketball is that I made the junior varsity team. I think we dressed 15 players. I was certainly number 15 at the end of the bench.
Okay.
I got a great view, though, of all the games. I could look down through all the other players, and I could watch the coach, and I could see what the coach did and said, and see how it translated into their play. So I got a lot of training and coaching, and whenever I got a rare chance to get in the game and the coach would tell me what to do, I could not translate it. I didn't have the talent, I didn't have the height, I didn't have the athleticism, but I surely had the love.
Oh, yes, sir. So how did you get involved with Hodza basketball?
I can't remember. I know that when we first got to the mission station, I was very busy just trying to help us to locate a vehicle, which took quite a while, as everyone from Zimbabwe would know. I was trying to help with the start of the university across the way, involved in lots of comings and goings, and I just remember one day going by and seeing students playing basketball, and on that particular day having no opportunity to have the time to stop, but later on to be able to be there at the right time, and met Mr. DeWolf and asked, "Hey, is there any need that you have? Might I be able to help?" And he said, "Oh my, yes." That's all I remember.
Awesome. So this had to be 1991, right?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, that was my first year at Hodza. So 1991, I think that year the senior team, you had Jonathan Denga, you had Chenji Chambara, Hamashol Chidawanyika,
all stars.
Yes, all of them.
Incredible players.
All of them. And I think on the junior team, the stars there, Rutendo Windingwi, Christian Mambo,
Yes.
Tendai Chidawanyika, Archibald Karadzandima, the stat machine, Who else am I forgetting? Then I was a beginner at that time. Bobo Collins Ganjanda, Moses Stole. Then a guy called Douglas Makonye. He didn't play. He was really, really tall. He ended up not playing much. Do you remember any? Well, before we get to the highlights of that year, what was your coaching philosophy or your coaching style? And before you answer, I'll let you know some of the discussion we've had as former players. You know, we've always seen Coach DeWolf as a hardcore kind of disciplinarian. You know, he's there to make sure the unit is moving in unison. He's good at building that team cohesion and everybody on the same page. You know, but you do a behind the back pass and make a turnover, you run in the mountain or you out of the game. You try to look cute and make a turnover, you out. You seem like you were more kind of laid back, easygoing, but seem like you did a lot of personalized type coaching one-on-one. How would you describe your kind of coaching style?
Well, the only way I know, it's not a style that I chose, but the only way I knew was to pay attention to each particular player and what it took to be able to get them at their highest level. So for some people, it meant getting on them, letting them know they weren't hustling, they weren't trying hard enough. For others, it was just encouragement. You're doing great, keep going, and various other, whatever it took to be able to help people to do their best. So.
Awesome. So that year, Hodzol ended up losing the Master Championship to Mutare Boisai, even though we had a much more superior talent and superior team. Any recollection